Do I look strong?
Yeah, you look pretty smart. Pretty strong.
How about this? How about this? One arm?
Dude, oh.
Hey, I'm Klain. Or should I say Gorgoth? Because that's my stage name. My band, Misyrion, just played our first show a couple months ago. Show was super fun. We all had a great time. We learned a lot, so I figured in this video I could break down all the preparations that went into it, the upfront costs, what we made, what we learned, what I might do differently next time, kind of what my main takeaways are. I already told the story of how we got the show in my previous band announcement video, but I'll just quickly reiterate. I was at this venue, the Rickshaw, and as I was leaving, the production manager asked me if I had a band because he thought that if I had a project going on, I would be a good fit for this show because I'm this YouTuber person, female guitar shredder, and it was a female shredder headlining. So we weren't even public yet at all. There was nothing online. It was basically just because of YouTube and Twitch that we got the show. With that in mind, none of us were ready, and I think we had about 6 weeks to prepare, which was really scary. When we first got the offer, Sunshine and Connor were not even really confirmed in the band yet, so we totally confirmed that and then started practicing. I personally had not actually even attempted to do vocals at the same time as playing guitar yet, so that was kind of my biggest hurdle, was actually getting the hang of doing vocals and guitar at the same time. My guitar riffs aren't that hard, so it was really just about the kind of pat your head, rub your stomach of doing vocal patterns that are different to what your hands are doing. So that was fun. Because we were so unprepared and like just not really on track to have stuff out or to play a show, the music wasn't like totally done. So I think I pissed off some people in the band because I was changing harmonies and parts even up to a few weeks before the show. So sorry about that. I also didn't have lyrics written for all the songs that we were going to play, or patterns laid out for that matter, so I had to finish the lyrics and figure out my patterns and then, memorize all that. It was a frantic 6 weeks, to say the least.
Are you nervous?
Fuck yeah, I am. I have taken my diarrhea medication today because that's already spouting off like mad, but I'm really excited. The anxiety tells me that I care. Regarding the upfront costs, there were a number of things that had to go into this. So for one, we don't have a jam space. Luckily, Sunshine and Connor have an in-ear monitor system in their apartment, and he has an electric kit. So we were able to practice there for most of our sessions, but it's obviously a very different vibe to a live show. So we really wanted to get in a jam space to have something a little bit more similar to what we would be doing live. So our last 3 rehearsals, I booked us in at a place in Vancouver called the Jamnasium, and we had 3-hour rehearsals, and that cost us $174.30 for those 3 rehearsals. The big one here is that obviously we needed merch. We checked out a bunch of different places, just kind of trying to figure out what's the most cost efficient, and we decided to go with a large order from Dad's Printing, which is a local company here, and we chose the Gildan 5000s. We went with 120 shirts. We went for a size spread that's like pretty even, but mainly focusing on like mediums. I feel like that's the most popular size. So 120 Gildan 5000s cost us $1,031.10. So that's obviously overkill for a show, but it's good to have them. We don't really have to worry about replenishing merch for quite a while until we get some other kind of merch design, because right now this is just our logo. At the show itself, I also had our friend Sav of Paradox Visuals to take photos for us, and that cost us $100. We also rented a base cab for the show, which we didn't end up using, and I can't find my receipt, so I don't know how much it cost, so we're just going to ignore that part, but just know that there was that additional cost in there. So without that cab rental in there, our total upfront cost for the show was $1,305.40. That's a lot for a first show, but again, the bulk of that is in the merch, which eventually we will recoup those costs. I should also point out that because Sunshine and Connor aren't like full members, they're kind of live members, performance members, I don't really know what to call it, but the expenses are split entirely by myself and Charlie, which means we each paid $652.70 for the show. All right, and now on to our profits. So we had a guarantee of $150 for the show, and I don't remember how many shirts we sold. I didn't write it down, which is stupid of me. I think it was somewhere around 6. Like, we really didn't sell that many, but that's okay. We also price matched our shirt to the other bands, a similar style, basically a black shirt with like just white or one color. So we sold them for $30, which means we made $180 in merch, which brings our total to $330 profit, which offsets a little bit of our original expenses. I used the guarantee money, so the $150, to partially pay back Charlie and I just split it in half and gave it to us. And then the money we made on merch, we just kind of stashed away for future Misyrion expenses because there's a lot. Learn?
Is there anything you do differently next time?
Nah.
Wow, really?
Like, I have made mistakes and I can only do my best, and I did my best, so it's not like I can't be like, next time I won't make mistakes. I'm gonna make fucking mistakes. I've had a blast, and I love my band, and I love my bandmates, and I love my band manager. In regards to what I learned, there's a few things that really stick out. For one, Dean made these awesome documents that I used to advance the show. If you don't know, advance is basically you send an email to the promoter where you give your own information, like your monitor mix, lighting cue, stuff like, or your stage plot, and then you also find out information like what time is load-in and your sound check and what's your guarantee and like all those sort of logistical things. It was just so sick having this like really rad looking stage plot, monitor mix, and lighting cue list. The monitor mix especially was extremely helpful in the end because we lost the bulk of our sound check time. So having this pre-made monitor mix that's somewhere around where the levels that we think we want was really helpful because we were able to just like go from there and do a tiny bit of tweaking. And so the sound was really quite good in the end. I was very happy with it. Also, the sound guy was great, so that helps. However, that does segue into probably my biggest takeaway from the show. Something that I always forget and I'm really trying to remember is that you can make changes to your mix once your set has started. I couldn't really hear my vocals, so I kept pushing them louder and also pushing them higher because the highs I could hear a bit better. So my vocals, looking back through the footage, aren't like exactly where I would want them. And this could have been very easily fixed by just like pointing at my mic and going up at some point during the set, and JJ the sound guy could have just done a little bit more in my wedge and then I would have been good to go. Something really to remember is that you can make changes once you've started, and the adrenaline and the nerves are going, so it's like really hard to remember, but I'm just like trying to drill that in my head that I can do that. Another thing I became hyper aware of after watching the footage back is how much volume was lost in my vocals when I looked at my guitar. Like, obviously I should have been able to figure that one out. So now I'm keeping that in mind as I practice, and I'm trying really hard not to look at the guitar at all so that I can just stay right on the mic as needed for my vocal parts. People have also been asking how my arm held up for the show. For people that don't know, I have a tendonitis arm injury that affects me pretty badly. So I was nervous to see how my arm would hold up, especially given the really tight timeline meant that I was really over practicing. I was basically practicing the set multiple times almost every day. So basically an hour of guitar every day, which is way more than I have played in a long time. Given how much I was practicing and that it is a lot of tremolo and downpicking stuff, it held up pretty well. The whole week preceding the show, it was starting to get quite irritated. By the time we played the show, I was very grateful to have a break. But that being said, I would say that it was a really positive and enlightening thing for me to experience, because ever since I've gotten this injury, I've been very worried and anxious about whether I am able to tour, if that's something that my body can even handle anymore. And going through this show preparation, I've learned that yes, I can handle touring, because our sets will not be an hour long, and our tour would not be 6 weeks long either. So basically, I have been able to assure myself that I would be able to handle whatever a tour demands of us. Overall, considering how little time we had to prepare and how unprepared we were at the start of the timeline, I'm really proud of how all of us did, and we can just hope to be better each time. And also, we had a blast, which is the most important part. If you're in the greater Vancouver area, we are playing another show on September 9th at the Cobalt. If that sounds fun to you, come check us out and come say hi, and maybe grab a shirt. That's it for me. Thanks for watching. See you next time.